Welcome back to the next episode of Count the Bucket. We're excited to be here. Happy that I'm actually at my house for this episode. My internet is working great right now, so we're good. Had some weather issues last time. As you can see, our whole screen is filled up this week. We've got a special guest to me as a Heat fan here. We've got Will Manso back with us. He was here once with us last year, probably around this time again. Of course, he's a big host down in Miami with the Valley Sports, or Fox, well, not Fox, about says Fox, Valley Sports Sun in Miami is what it is. And of course, we just found out he's got the Miami Sports Pod that he just got done recording right now. Will, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here.
It's good to be back on, guys. It's always good to see you guys.
Yes, of course. I mean, look at this beard. Of course, it's great to see this, right? I mean, come on. Like,
oh my God.
I'm jealous, man. I wish I could grow that out.
I'm going to be honest. It was after No Shave November 2 years ago. It was like, you know what? I'm going to fully pledge to this, and I didn't shave, and it was like, I'm a little patchy when it grows in, and it got to December. I'm like, you know what? I just don't feel like shaving, and it's blossomed into this. Little Miracle Grow helps a lot.
Looks good.
So, of course, Nick, CJ, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're back with us, of course, as my co-host. You know, always want to show love with you all. You guys doing all right before we get into the basketball talk?
We're doing great, man. We're 2 weeks into the season, bro, and we got like another 5,000 weeks to go, man. So I'm super excited and super happy.
How about you, CJ?
Ready to rock, all as well. It's a really good weekend. Glad to talk some basketball with you guys. A lot to talk about. Dive into a lot of teams in each conference.
Absolutely. Of course, before we get in, just want to shout out real quick the Java Seeds. Go to thejavaseeds.com. Use our promo code Bucket. About said backstop. Wrong episode, wrong show. I do a baseball podcast as well. Bucket. And then, of course, you can get your 20% off all your purchases that you make with thejavaseeds.com. Of course, what that is, Will, you may not know, Java Seeds, it's a mixture of coffee and sunflower seeds. It was made 10 years ago in a college dorm. A student wasn't being able to stay awake while he studied for his exams. Mix the two together. Each bag like this right here has 2 cups of coffee in it. So actually, it's kind of enjoyable.
I could have used some of that for the late night Heat games last week. They were out west working late. Could have used some of that.
Hey, you go to that website, use our promo code. We'll get you 10% or 20% off. How's that sound?
I like it.
So with that being said, guys, I've got to do one small shout out before we get into some Miami Heat talk, which is my favorite team. So I'm excited to do that. But I have to wish a very special person a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Bubble Booker. Okay, now we're done. We got it out of the way.
Very random, but not surprising.
Well, I'm watching the Suns right now on the TV. Will, they make fun of me. I'm a Kentucky guy. I'm sure you can tell by my accent that there's a little bit of a hick in there.
Listen, that's okay. I got Pat Riley. Pat's always selling us on Kentucky guys. He loves those Kentucky
Absolutely.
guys.
Pat, Hero, Bam, all of them. But just wanted to give that shout out real quick. But before we get we've got everything covered. I say we dive on into it. Will, want to obviously start with you while we got your time, and we know it's valuable. You've got your the news coming up later this evening or tonight, so let's get into it. How do you think from last year to this year the Heat are playing right now? Because I think they're 2-5 at the moment.
2-5, yeah.
As
we talk, 2-5. I mean, the honest answer is obviously not well. And I think guys, I think you guys follow the NBA close enough that you know that the Heat are running it back. All off season they talked about it. They were in the mix of looking to see if Durant was available. I think they kind of dabbled at the thought of whether Donovan Mitchell, they had a package that was good enough, and obviously Cleveland jumped in and put together a good enough package for Utah. But I think when you look at this team with the whole theory of run it back and the continuity and that being a big part of their ability of moving forward, it's been disappointing because I think the one thing that's been frustrating through 7 games, and it is only 7 games, you can't panic at that, but that a team that is so together, right, and that's been together a couple of years and that's supposed to have continuity looks so discombobulated. There's so many communication issues, so many lack of communication. And Eric Spoelstra said after the loss to Sacramento, he said, look, we know what we're doing wrong. I mean, the energy, the effort, the lack of communication in big moments, we know what we're doing wrong. We just got to fix it. And that's frustrating because you would think the one thing that a team running it back does well is communicate, is know where guys like to be on the court, have a comfort level. Yeah, sometimes shots aren't going to drop. That's part of the game. Sometimes another team's going to play better than you are. But when you look in the mirror and you're not doing anything like the things that you know you can do, that you can control, it's disappointing. It's a reason they're 2-5 right now.
I know CJ's got a list of questions, Nick, too, but before you go on and into y'all's follow-up question with that, I kind of want to ask, do you think not having PJ has kind of hurt a little bit of that? Because a lot of his game is the 3-and-D and more of the mentality of the physicalityness, if that's even a word. Do you think that he is being missed quite a bit on this team?
I think it's obvious. Look, I think it's easy to point that he's the main issue, but I don't think it is the main issue. I think to answer to your question, they miss him. They miss his toughness. They miss his shooting, his ability to stand out there and hit threes. But PJ was more of an intangibles guy and a guy that you learn from. I think I will say this, his communication was great on the court. He really got guys in place. But I think they have enough. Caleb Martin has actually played well. He's very athletic, completely different type of four than PJ was. Very athletic, kind of a guy that can kind of fly to the basket. He's going to have trouble muscling up with guys that are big because it's just not his game. He's not a big guy in that sense. But I don't think Caleb's been bad at the four. I do think, guys, they're getting out rebounded. They're getting out muscled. They're getting out hustled. That's probably part of PJ's game that they miss. But even 7 games in, you look at this roster and you say to yourself, where's the help going to come when Bam's not on the court? When Bam isn't on the court, this team is completely different defensively. They don't have rebounders. Their defense just goes straight down. I mean, they cannot cover anyone without him on the court. And Bam can't play 48 minutes. So they got to figure out exactly what to do because Dwayne Dedmon hasn't been the answer. Omer Yurtseven is hurt. Nikola Jovic should be in high school. There aren't many fixes on the roster that are just going to miraculously make them a better rebounding team.
Nick, you want to go ahead with one? And then CJ will get you a question in too.
Yeah, I'll go ahead with this one. How do you feel like age really plays a role with this team? Because we know that Jimmy Butler's getting up there in age. We know that Kyle Lowry's in the mid to late 30s. So how do you think that it affects this team, especially with a really young Eastern Conference? Like, the Celtics are pretty young. The Cavs are young. The Atlanta Hawks are young. So how do you feel like age will really play a factor with this team?
Honestly, Nick, I think it goes twofold. Number one is, when you have older guys, you kind of have to maintain them, right? You got to think big picture, which is great when you're 5-2, not when you're 2-5. Mm-hmm. I mean, they are in a position where they have to think big picture, keeping Kyle and Jimmy on track and healthy come the postseason. It's important, no doubt. I also think twofold, though, it's that your window is so small that if this team isn't constructed the way you need it to be to really be a contender, you can't just punt seasons. You can't just say, oh, well, we didn't construct this roster well. And again, I'm not saying this after 7 games. It's still too early. I'm talking about if All-Star break, near the deadline, you're looking at this team, they're kind of middling 5 or 6, 7 seed, and they're not playing to that championship caliber. The window for Jimmy is not very big what's left. And Kyle especially, Kyle even more so. They got to figure out if this roster going forward can do it because, like you said, they're not a young team. Yeah, Bam and Tyler as part of the core are young, but Jimmy and Kyle, they're not going to get any younger. They need to. They're in a win-now mode, so they kind of have to figure out as the season goes on how they can do that.
So you talked about the rebound, which is obviously quintessential when you're trying to win a championship, trying to compete.
Yeah.
Even with that, and even when they had that last year, when you and Michael just talked about in regards to having a guy like PJ Tucker, I still felt like Miami's one piece away, one piece away. And I just feel like there needs to just be one more piece next to Jimmy and Bam for you guys to take it, because Miami, now Boston, they have the experience.
Yeah,
they went to the finals, just like you guys have experience too, going to the finals in the bubble. So that I just feel like you could just make that one more chess piece by Pat Riley. If he's able to do that, do you think now you could contend? Because obviously the identity is there. Spoelstra's there, Riley. The identity is there, so that's not into question in terms of like some of these other teams where they have talented players, but we still don't know, despite having the slow start. So do you think that adding that extra piece would take you guys over the hump, and who do you see right now that could potentially might make a move and Miami might want to take a risk at? Because you did say they tried to go at Mitchell.
Yeah, and I think, CJ, the honest answer is, you look around. This is why I think fans got frustrated, and just observers of the NBA look at the Heat and say they took a step back because other teams took a step forward. I think the Heat could still be very good, and they were only a shot from the NBA Finals last year, even with the way they were constructed last year. But Boston went out and got Malcolm Brogdon. Boston went out and got Danilo Gallinari. The Bucks have a healthy Middleton. You look already at what the Cavs, obviously being aggressive and getting Donovan Mitchell to that young core they already have of really talented players. Teams are getting better while they're staying put, right? So at some point, those teams are going to surpass you. So I think the Heat have to big picture look at, again, 7 games is too early, but at some point you got to recognize, like, can we really beat these teams in 7-game series in second rounds in Eastern Conference Finals? I'm not sure right now the way the team is constructed, and I think that needs to be answered. As far as who, I don't think the Heat are in any position where they're going to make big moves. You know, the KD talk, was all offseason stuff. Obviously, like I said, Mitchell went to Cleveland, but I think there are guys that could help them. There's been talk about maybe a reunion with Jay Crowder. We know he's fallen out in Phoenix. Is that somebody? Miles Turner is a guy that is a big that I think could help them. A veteran NBA body that could get rebounds and block. But again, these aren't like sexy, impactful players. But I don't know if they necessarily need that right now. Sure, I wish they could get one, but I don't think they're going to be in position. I think they need one more big body that could really help them.
Uh-oh, your mic got muted for some reason, Will.
Let me see. Let me double check that.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, we should
be back in progress. All right.
There we go. Yeah,
we're good.
I think it kind of unplugged. I think my energy, I got unplugged because I got now they need, look, they need help. I think they need help. I think it's okay. I think even 7 games in, it's okay to say they need help. They need help. That doesn't mean they're a bad team. I don't think they're a team that's going to miss the playoffs. But here in Miami, you don't think just playoffs. You think NBA Finals. And Nick mentioned it. The window is, with Jimmy leading the way, is only going to get smaller. They're a veteran team that wants to win now.
Because I see Jimmy and it's like that Boston series. Yeah, he was not 100%. Put up 40 twice in that series.
47 games.
A monster.
They just get like if a Beal or something like that matching with Jimmy. I like Lowry, and he has championship identity, and he adds right there to Miami. It's a perfect fit when it comes to exactly what he knows. He knows what to do, how to sacrifice. He gives up charge. He's been doing that his whole career. That's exactly what they want him to do. You're right. If he stays healthy, you bring that next piece in with Jimmy. Let me see what he could do. He took you guys to the finals, and last year 40 points against the Celtics twice on a bad knee, on one leg, pretty much. So
and I think they know
what the potential could be.
I think they had I think the offseason big move was they tried, and I just don't. I'll be honest with guys, I don't see them making a big move. I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I don't see them making the kind of move that's like going to send shockwaves to the NBA. But I think there's a piece out there that could definitely help them that they're going to have to look at from now to the deadline.
So I want to know this real quick. Just kind of 2-part question on this here. Do you think Tyler Hero can blossom into that? Because, he had 34 points just the other night, I think it was. And then, actually, I'm going to say 3-point part. Bam's offense really hasn't been the best. I mean, are they kind of maybe hoping that Bam will blossom a little bit too as well as I speak with this? And then my third point, do you think that Cousins could be a guy that's still a free agent that's out there? Could he be a guy that maybe the Heat come in and say, hey, you can get some offense, some range from the three-pointer as well, while Bam's kind of that big 5 guy? Just asking, I guess.
Yeah, I'll go backwards. I'll start with Cousins.
Okay.
His name has been linked to the Heat, it seems like, for a decade. I mean, even when he was like a star player, he was linked to the Heat as a guy that
Kentucky
I
blood?
mean, I was going to say because of his Kentucky connection and Pat Riley. But I mean, could there be a potential if the Heat need help at the big? Sure. But again, that's not a really impactful one. I don't know what he has left as far as really helping a team. I think a championship caliber team that gets a few minutes, but I think the Heat need more than that. They don't need just a few minutes. They need a true backup big or impactful 4 if they're going to make a move. So I don't think DeMarcus Cousins is that guy. As for Bam, look, it's a question we ask here all the time. People want to make, and Eric Spoelstra said this a million times, guys, people want to make Bam. Right? They're wasting so much time thinking of what Bam they want Bam to be that they're missing out on what Bam is. And Bam is never going to be a 26-13 guy. That's just not Bam.
That's fair.
But he can be a 19, 20 point, 10 rebound, all-world defensive guy, and that's a damn good thing to have. Like, again, their numbers all point. It goes straight downhill when he isn't on the court defensively. So, sure, would you like more points from Bam? Would you like a more refined offensive game? Yeah, of course, but that's not what they need him for. They count on Bam for defense, toughness down low, rebounding. Obviously, you want to get the ball in his hands and be aggressive at times. There's probably a little more to give there, but I wouldn't expect a huge leap. And then Tyler, he's the one guy too. Guys, he's in the starting lineup now, and he's been a little hot and cold to start the season. Michael, you mentioned the 34 he had last game, but his defense is still a concern. teams tend to attack him. I give him credit. He's worked hard to get stronger and get better there. But the Heat are missing that energy he bought off the bench last year. Man, he was a monster off the bench. To be able to get 21 off the bench every night. And Tyler would always close games. The minutes haven't changed. He played as many minutes last year as a bench guy. So the dynamic has kind of changed a bit. I'm really curious how it goes on, what he gives, the improvement, the steps he takes as a starter. Because early on, he's a ball-dominant guard. He needs the ball in his hands. But as you guys mentioned, I mean, they got Jimmy and Kyle who need the ball in their hands too to start games. So that combination of three guys that need the ball in their hands to start the game doesn't always seem to be working. And I think the Heat have to kind of work through that because there is only one basketball to share, and it can't be in every guy's hands.
Now, despite, some of the early struggles with Miami, I still feel like, again, with the identity, with Eric Spoelstra being the head coach, I do think you guys will come together, kind of similar to last year. Kind of had that situation on the sideline, and then people thought, oh, they're gonna look what's gonna happen. Everybody overreacted, but it actually brought them closer. There's some teams out there in the NBA we're not too sure about when it comes to that specific key point right there.
Identity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Does it rime with Cakers?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It starts
or the bet, or the bets.
Or the bets.
Yeah, the bets.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a couple.
And they're the situation where they have more talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't have the identity. So they're struggling right now. What's your thoughts on what's going on in Los Angeles? And because the way I see it is just like they haven't had great spacing for years before LeBron. So this has been a problem. Remember, Magic came in, he was like, we're just going to get playmakers. And everybody was like, no shooters around LeBron?
Yeah, just names of playmakers. Yeah, creators.
Stevenson, they wrote all these guys. It was like, LeBron could do all that. You need shooters. So now I just wait. Where do you see the Lakers going right now? And do you think they could, despite having the talent, do you think they could come together with those three guys, Darvin Ham, rookie head coach, and try to make this push?
I'll be honest with you. Look, I never count LeBron or doubt LeBron. We had him here for 4 years, and he's the most incredible athlete I've ever seen with my own eyes and what he could do. Dude, he's just. I mean, he's.
Hear that, Michael?
It's him and Jordan, man. It's him and Jordan, and that he is who he is for a reason. But I think you made an excellent point, CJ. I mean, they don't have shooters and this is kind of this is part to blame LeBron. LeBron has helped build this team. Like, I know he's not the GM, but let's face it, he has say in this. Like he likes to bring his guys in. I just don't know how that wasn't a concentration point for them because they need in this league, man. You need shooters. You need all kinds of shooters. You need shooters at the starting lineup. You need shooters off the bench for spacing, for everything else. The league is a wide open league, and you need to be able to guys that can hit threes. And right now, the Lakers don't have any resemblance of a team that could do that. So that's my concern with them. LeBron's going to be LeBron. He's going to get back to playing better. He's going to be an MVP candidate as he always is. But do they really have enough as the current roster to be able in this NBA to really make noise? I just don't see that happening. Not as a contender, sure as a playoff contender, but not as a championship contender. Even with LeBron being LeBron, and there's only so much he could do on his own, man. There's only so much he could do on his own.
Exactly. This is the West. This is what I try to tell Michael. Michael's not trying to hear all of that, but in the West, historically, you need two or more. You need two or more guys to win a championship, and there they have two, but. I don't know why AD's.
But AD's got to stay healthy too.
I don't know why
Do they need more than two, CJ? Do they need more than two? Because I mean, like big threes aren't really a big thing anymore. I mean, we saw what happened in Brooklyn. We clearly saw that didn't work. So it's like I don't think big threes are really a thing. I think if you have two all-stars and then like a bunch of great role players, then you're able to do it.
Yeah,
I agree with
Nick. That's true too. That's true.
I'm going to say I still think
they tried to make a big three and gave up on the rope.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Personally, I think people still need the big three. It's just the big three has to learn to work together. Excuse me. The big three's got to learn to give a little bit. Like now Westbrook's actually been quoted. He'll do whatever he needs to, sacrifice whatever it takes for the Lakers team, even if that means coming off the bench. Granted, he's going to say what he's supposed to say. We'll see how he actually plays, if he's actually in the huddle when they break out and everything. But I want to ask kind of this on that, since we kind of went with the Lakers to struggle, the Heat struggle. Because the Heat's going to come out. We know they're going to be at top 3, top 4 by the end of the year in the record for the season. We know that because the Heat's the best. Let's just get over that.
Oh my God.
between the Nets chaos, which they just had their players only meeting, and the Lakers, whatever team you want to call that, out of those two teams, Will, who do you actually think can overcome this and actually have a above 500 record at this moment, but a good team by the end of the year?
I mean,
look, who would you put your bet on there?
It's tough because, I mean, you look at KD, and KD I put in that category with LeBron. You know, KD's one of the most gifted scorers in the history of the NBA, but man, he doesn't have any help there. And look, Kyrie makes more news off the court than he's on the court these days. It's hard. You know, Kyrie is just such an incredible player when you look at the basketball player, but none of that is being looked at now. Look, there's big distractions going on there with him. KD says it doesn't matter, that they're not worried about that, but it does bother. I mean, look, no matter what a guy says, it breaks apart a team when one of your players, one of your stars is constantly in the news for all the wrong reasons, you know, and the attention that gets already in New York. I don't know how the Nets fix it. And Ben Simmons, I mean, James Harden didn't work. I get it, but I don't have much hope for Ben Simmons to having some sort of career rejuvenation and being a key part of that. I don't feel comfortable with any of those teams. Like the Lakers, I would say I guess my answer to answer your question, Michael, is the Lakers, because to me, LeBron has the ability to bring other guys up. And I do think the Lakers maybe a little bit more motivated, having LeBron as he's getting older, to make a move, to do whatever it takes to build and help that roster. But neither team is very impressive right now. I mean, they're just not. And guys, you guys referenced it earlier. I'm looking at the East, and you have Boston, you have Milwaukee, but you look at what Cleveland's done. You look at what Atlanta's trying to build. You know, you look at the teams like that all of a sudden the East isn't just 4 teams, it's like 6 or 7 teams. And if you get caught in that 6, 7, 8 range, you're not going anywhere. You know, that battle for that top 4 or 5 is going to be crazy this season. And there's a lot more teams than usual involved. I haven't even mentioned the Sixers, who are off to a 2-4 start. That's a team that I think could be a championship too. Tyrese Maxey, man, that kid is just developing into a player. We saw him have a big day the other day. So there's still – oh, wait, I forgot he's Kentucky. Damn, I had to mention Kentucky again.
It's fine. Keep on going.
No, the kid can play. So, I mean, it's too early to know anything with any certainty, but I will say this. The East is going to be tough. CJ, you mentioned the West is going to be stacked too. We barely mentioned Phoenix. We haven't mentioned Denver. How about Memphis? John Morant's maybe the most exciting player in the NBA. There's so many quality teams that you can't mess around and just be like mediocre for 20, 30 games and expect to be near the top when it matters.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree. And you have to build your team the right way. And there are some really quality teams. I'm a fan of the Pelicans. I was high on the Pelicans. I've been a fan of Zion.
Nick isn't.
Yeah, he's a fan. We just had differences on ranking. And I just said,
what's your ranking? What's your ranking?
I had Pelicans top 3 or 4. I
got them top 4 because it's 1 in, 4 out. It's so easy for Zion to score.
Yeah.
So
I have them top 6.
Like, he's going to get to that left hand.
It's an issue for these two guys.
We talked him into top 6. He's about to have him lower than that.
Does any of this matter, by the way?
They have
no.
No. What matters is who gets Victor Wembanyama. That's what we'll be talking about this.
True.
Who's going to be the worst team? That's what's going to matter.
I don't know. I feel like the Jazz. I still like it still might be the Jazz because they're going to trade those guys. I think Markkanen is probably going to get traded, to a contender. Maybe
I don't know, man. With the way that he's playing, Utah might keep him.
Utah's playing
Miami
well,
should
right?
try to look at Markkanen. That's a perfect.
Yeah, CJ, he's a guy that's been mentioned. I think Houston's the team. I think Houston, they got a lot of young talent. I could see them tanking and trying to get Wembanyama. You know, I mean, Sacramento's not very good.
Yeah, Sacramento, that'd be nice.
How about Orlando? How about if you get Banchero, Wembanyama, and Wagner, those 3 together? That'd be a nice 1-2-3 punch to build.
Yeah,
they have some size.
Yeah. That would be nice, but my only concern would be, where would the Wendell Carter Jr. minutes come? Because he's been playing well at that 5 position for us.
That's true. Yeah, yes, he's definitely found his career again there. He's definitely done a nice job.
What I like about this is in the next 2 to 3 years with the NBA as a whole, these smaller market teams are going to be more relevant than ever. I feel like the NBA has so much talent all across the board that it's not just the Knicks, the Celtics, the Lakers, the Heat. I mean, all these teams have a shot night in, night out. What was it? Pistons just beat someone that was supposed to be good. I can't remember who it was, but just every team night in, night out. Like, you can't really coast anymore. I think, Will, you said that earlier. Like, every game almost has some weighted to your ending ranking now, or end rankings now.
I mean, I was watching the Kings against the Heat the other day. I mean, you got De'Aaron Fox, who wait, I'm sorry, where did he go to school? Yeah, I know.
I can't remember. Can y'all tell me where he went?
Kid's averaging 30 points a game. I mean, like, there's players everywhere, and you can't slack any night because every team is NBA players and stars and young players. I mean, it's fun. It's a great league. It's fun to watch. You guys were referencing before we got on air, just watching games every night. I love just catching some of the teams I don't get to watch. You're like, damn, this team has some players. There's a lot of talent in the league that's fun to see, and there's more coming.
Listen, I know I would love to talk to you all night just about the NBA, and of course it's almost 10 o'clock here, so I know you've got to be getting probably out, get your other attire on to get ready for the 10 o'clock news down there.
Well, hang on. We got 2 more minutes. I want to ask him this one quick question.
Let's do it.
Okay, Nick.
What was your reaction during training camp when Jimmy Butler came in with the long hair?
With the dreads? Yeah. I know Jimmy well. I know Jimmy well enough to know that I told everybody, man, Jimmy's just clowning everybody. Jimmy just wants to do this so that everybody talks about it. Number one, because everybody's like, oh, Jimmy, you're going to keep the hair. What are you going to do? And number two is because now anytime you watch a national telecast and you look on the screen and they have a stat with Jimmy Butler, his photo is him with that hair because that was the media day photo. So Jimmy got through media day and then cut it right off because he
did he lose a bet?
No, he was. Jimmy doesn't care. Listen, Jimmy, I can't say I know Jimmy well. I mean, I cover him obviously the last few years, but Jimmy does not care what you or anyone thinks, man. That's one thing I know about Jimmy, and he loves to clown people. He loves to. He plays by his own rules, so he had that thing calculated. Nick, he knew people were going to talk about it. And he knew that picture was going to live forever. Watch, every time the Heat play on national TV, you'll see those long dreads. You'll see it. And that's just Jimmy clowning all of us, man. That's just Jimmy having fun. That's all.
Well, Will, thanks so much for your time. Nick, do you have another question before I try to?
We're good, man. We're good.
Okay. But,
thank you, man.
what I think would be great if maybe you could go up there and talk to maybe, Pat Riley and say, hey, there's this really great podcast. It's called Count the Bucket. They'd love to have you on sometime, talk some Kentucky sports,
I would love to promise you I get Pat on, but I can't even get Pat on our podcast, man. Pat's like, I'm done with that stuff, man.
I understand.
It's a pleasure having you on.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Keep up the good work, guys. Yeah, for sure, man. We'll talk later in the year. Hopefully, we'll talk
awesome.
as the season gets closer.
There we go. Once that Heater in number one, right? We'll talk again when they got the number one record.
You got I'm confirmed for that if that comes up for sure.
All right. Well, thanks again so much for joining, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. You got it.
All right.
Well, that was awesome.
Will Manso, reporter, doing a great job.
Of course, he had mentioned us earlier before the show started. For everyone still listening, go out to your whatever you listen to your podcast on, Miami Sports Pod. He's got a podcast that they just recorded before he came on the air with us. Thanks again so much for taking time out of your day, because obviously you just recorded that and now you're going to do the news. You're switching into your suit and tie. So thank you for taking the time to join our show.
And tie.
Nick, you need to come on the show one time with a suit and tie.
The grind is real.
I got you next week.
I
got some stuff in the closet right now. I got you.
There we go. But I kind of want to go with what we're talking about as far as these bad teams. And I was talking with Will.
Let's go with the Nets, please.
Okay.
Let's start with it. CJ, New Yorker. I know that you're happy because your team in New York is doing good, and the other team isn't. But I got this to say, man. I know that we should give the benefit of the doubt to Ben Simmons. He missed the entire last season. With all the issues that he had, and he's only played about 6-7 games this year, but something like that. So I get it. I don't have a problem with him not shooting. I don't have an issue with him not scoring. Because that Ben Simmons has shown that that's not what he. Look at CJ. Ben has shown us that's not what he wants to do. But it's not you have KD and Kyrie on your team, so it's like, is it really? I mean, look, it's a plus. It is definitely a plus if he does score, but that's not necessarily what they need, especially when you have two dynamic scorers. But my issue with Ben is all right. Go ahead, CJ. I'm gonna let you go. I need to hear your take. You're still on mute.
Nah, go ahead.
He's
man.
not even talking though.
Go ahead, go ahead, bro.
But my issues with Ben is that you're just not seeing any effort on both ends. Like, there's not really no effort on the defensive end, because we know how versatile that he could be, being able to guard positions 1 through 5. And even on offense, I don't really feel like, his playmaking has really been an X factor as well. So we get it. He hasn't played in over a year, and it may take some time to really get back to the flow of things. But to me, I'm just not really seeing the effort. I'm not really seeing just effort in general, honestly. And that's really my concern with Ben Simmons throughout this year. I just think that, he needs to be more assertive. He needs to have more of a sense of urgency on the floor, especially when you're playing with the championship caliber team that this team is supposed to be. So that's just really my issue, man. I mean, I know that Kyrie has been in the media defending him. I know the other guys have defended him as well, but you can't teach effort. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. Like, he's not playing the way that he's supposed to, but you can't teach effort.
Go ahead, CJ. I'm gonna give you time because I definitely want to talk on this too.
I completely agree, and with a lot of your points. I completely agree with a lot of your points. So for Ben Simmons, you have to be aggressive. He has to be aggressive. If he's aggressive, going to the basket, scoring, rolling hard to the rim, using both hands, being aggressive, dunking on guys, running in fast break. When I watched them play the Pacers the other night, he's the tallest guy on the court, and he just passes up easy lanes to the basket. He passes up lanes. Why? Because I don't think he wants to be on the free throw line. Because if he was confident in his free throws, he would definitely go to the basket. Why? Because he would get fouled, and that means why? He would knock down his free throws.
That's a fact.
It's just mental. That's all. Once he unlocks that, the sky's the limit. But I don't know when he's gonna unlock it. We heard Kobe say in 2019, if he doesn't get a jump shot, he might regret it, or he's gonna regret it. Paraphrasing. That's not quote unquote. I'm paraphrasing.
That's okay.
No, you gotta cite it. You have to cite that. But yeah, he has to. I was saying on a podcast back in 2019, like he should have. If he just had a mid range, he'd be nasty. Never developed a mid range. Now, he'll do it in a workout. I just don't. That's what I'm saying. It's mental. If you're doing it in a pro-am pickup game, still playing with NBA players, but you can't do it in the NBA game, then it's something mentally going. Like something's not unlocking. I don't know what it is. I don't know him. I obviously don't know him. So that'd be something I don't. Because to me, I see he could get 20, 10, and 10 every single night. Easy. He has two of the greatest scorers we've ever seen, ever.
Bring it.
Come
on.
That's a fact.
Come on.
But honestly, but
I was 60 last year. KD's career high is 54. He has that on his team. 9 assists. I need at least 15 if you're gonna give me 9 points. No way, bro. He should need to be way more aggressive. I completely agree with you, brother. Exactly. There's no excuses as to why he's getting fouled out of the game.
I feel like we're at church right now, Michael.
That's no church. It's just basketball, bro. He's playing basketball. It should be. I just for me, I don't know. I just see more in his game, and I feel like he could be a lot better.
I mean, I'm definitely right up there with you. I'm definitely right up there with you.
That's where I'm coming from. I ain't coming from no hate. I'm coming from you could be like one of the greatest players ever. If you just took it, just unlocked it, just took it to another extra one more step. Just one more step. Yeah, exactly one more. Exactly.
Don't pass. Just pass it to the goal.
Exactly.
But not like. Okay, go ahead, Michael. You're good.
Okay.
I got 1 point, and then we could go to the Lakers. Woo.
Okay. So, love it, CJ. By the way, I don't want to. Okay, I'm trying to be. My thoughts all okay. I'm just going to say it. I'm trying not to attack a man's character here, but the man almost, because I watched a little bit of one game, he almost like he does not care, like at all about it. I think he's just playing to.
He looks soft.
because there was one point.
I'm not attacking his character. I'm just saying, like, yo, bro, like, I just feel like you could just unlock it, take it one more step.
Oh no,
like,
I'm not
I
saying
feel
that you're
people
attacking.
feel like when someone plays like, oh, when you could teach guys like, oh, but you never played.
Because the way I'm thinking is, we all think it's mental of some sort, that there's some kind of mental block going on that doesn't have the confidence. But you would think that Brooklyn would have kind of done their legwork and workouts, tryouts before they made this trade. Or I won't say tryouts, but like, their physical and all that stuff of how they say, okay, yes, we'll accept it.
Went into Philly, bro. It was inevitable.
You're right, but at the same time, would you have traded Harden for what we have now, Ben? No matter what,
they had no other choice, bro. Harden wanted out.
I would have rather let Harden go and got a pick than get what you're getting out of Ben right now. But here's what I almost feel like. Ben doesn't want to play almost. Like, I mean, there was a fourth quarter, and I can't remember what game it was, but they passed him to the ball, or it was a fast break. He was coming down about the free throw line in the middle. The ball was on the right side of the wing. They hit him in the middle. He actually jumped probably 15 feet out. Oh, I'd say 13 feet out. And then just turned in midair and just found somebody. Luckily, it was KD who caught it on the trail and came in and just dunked on him. And that gave him the lead. But it was almost like he's like, I just don't really want this ball. Somebody just take it. And it's crazy because
when Kyrie said, shoot it, take it, score, score.
Shoot it, Ben, shoot it.
This is a guy that scored 60 last year telling you to score. You feel me?
So, like, it blows my mind. And I'm fine because, seriously, when I was point guard, it was strictly, hey, set up the play, be the coach on the court, run the offense, and set up you guys. Score when you can, but also get the ball where it needs to be. So I'm okay saying that some shot selections he don't need to take. I'm okay with that. But at the same time, I'm 100% with you, CJ. If the man plays 30 minutes and he's got KD and Kyrie on his team, plus Seth Curry when he's healthy, the man should have double assist.
Joe Harris.
Oh, yeah, and Harris. He should have double-digit assist every game. The man, all he's got to do is just penetrate and kick, and you get an assist. I mean, yes, they may miss it, but you're so big, you already penetrated, had the help swing. Now they're out there trying to close out on a miss. You're in the perfect spot for a rebound at, 6'10" or something like that. Then all you got to do is put it in under the goal. You got 2 points. The man just don't look like he has effort. I feel like he's just playing to get paid.
But I mean, here's the thing. Like, this is the point that I've been making for years now, because I've been saying Ben Simmons. Yeah, Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from being a superstar. Because what else can he do besides shoot?
But I
like,
even
play
feel
like Jason
like
Kidd.
Right now, but since he's not scoring, he still doesn't do the other things that he does well. He needs to do that.
Right.
You don't have to guard him.
You got to do it more. Then I need offensive rebounds. I need defensive rebounds, transitions into those shots that you just talked about and drive and kick. That's what I need. I need more of that. You have a man that scored 60 in a basketball game telling you to score. That should automatically unlock you, right? To me, I'll be like, oh, yo, Kyrie's telling me to score, or I'm going to be aggressive.
Right. I also feel like,
yo,
I want to know what Steve Nash is telling this man. Like,
that's what I'm saying though. Like, there's no alpha dogs on this team. There's no dogs on this team getting in his ear saying, "Yo, like, you need to be more aggressive." Like, because we all know KD's not that guy. KD's not a vocal leader. Kyrie tries to be, but I don't know if he really comes off as that guy. So there's nobody on that team.
Alpha leader. He's alpha. He's a leader, but it's not like that alpha mentality.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no guy. Like, there's no, like, for example, there's no Udonis Haslem on this Brooklyn Nets team.
There we go.
There's
I meant to talk to him about Haslem. Dang it.
There's no
Sorry,
PJ
Will,
Tucker. There's no PJ Tucker on this team that's in his ear. Like, yo, you need to be aggressive. You need to shoot. You need to do whatever it is to help your team win. There's nobody on that Nets team that could do that for Ben.
But see, Nash.
Yeah, it should be KD and Kyrie because they've been.
It should be, yes.
Right. So
it should.
But at the same time, it also should be Nash saying, "Hey, listen, Ben, glad you're here on this team, but this is what I need from you every night. I need you to at least take 10 shots. At least 10 shots. I need you to try to be getting double-digit assists, and every night you should be at least having 3 steals and almost 10 rebounds every game. But let's focus on getting these points up and getting you in the game." Getting these shots off, where getting you in a perfect spot where you're comfortable at attacking and get you these points or get you the shots, and everything else will flow for you. Because I remember going into a game one time in college. I was sub off the bench. We played. We actually pressed. It was a diamond and one press that we came back into a 1-3-1, and then for so many passes, we got into a man-to-man defense. It's kind of crazy. But the very first play, it was probably 4 seconds in on that press. They threw the reversal on the top of the key or of the top of the offense. The ball came straight to me. I had a wide open layup. I took 2 dribbles. My mouth was completely dry already because I had the cotton mouth and I couldn't do a thing. That layup was probably the hardest layup for me to shoot because I just got into the game. I was completely wide open. All pressure was on me to miss this. And I actually missed it, got my rebound, put it back in before anything. So I know there's pressure when you first get into the game. But Nash, as a coach, or even his assistants coach, got to say, hey, listen, KD, Kyrie, I know you can do whatever you want to do. But we've got to get Ben as our third superstar, get him comfortable getting the point. So penetrate, pick and roll, whatever. You may have something. Let's get Ben an easy shot, get him the momentum. And once I made the second shot that I made, totally fine rest of the game. But he's got to get in that flow of the confidence of just, hey, it's that easy. And free throws, I mean, if you really can't shoot free throws, why are you even in the game? Like, if he is afraid of shooting them, he doesn't even be playing.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. Because if that wasn't what it was, he would go to the basket. If you shoot 90% from the free throw line, why would you not go to a place where you most likely get fouled?
I'm gonna ask you all this real quick.
Basketball, yeah. It's just basketball, man. It's just simple basketball. If I'm shooting 90% from the free throw line, why would I not? Why wouldn't I want to get? I would want to get fouled, right? Isn't that just like common logic basketball sense, right?
I watched the Ben Simmons.
So why does he not? Why does he not score and go to the basket when he's 6'10", one of the most athletic players in the league, and you're playing with 2 guys that scored 50 plus in a game, 2 champions, 2 of the greatest scorers we've ever seen, and they're telling you, brother, we need you to score. 2010 and 10 should be like, oh yeah. This should be like this is the 13th 2010 and 10 game Ben Simmons has had in the last 13, something like this is what we should be saying, the way his play style is. But he doesn't. I don't know why he doesn't unlock that take that next step. I have no clue. I don't know that brother personally. I don't even think JJ Redick really asked him that either. And you got Steve Nash coming out saying we don't need him to score. What? KD and Kyrie tell you to score, but the coach says we don't need you to score. That's why they won 5.
Oh, Nick, you need to be writing these times down so you can put this on Twitter and stuff.
And that's why Kyrie said. And that's why Kyrie said.
I got it.
That's why Kyrie said we don't have a coach, man.
That's a fact, but but the thing about
your head coach is telling you. Your head coach is telling you don't score. Remember, Steve Nash was a guy that was a pass first guy. In the NBA. And there was definitely there was an interview where he said he wished he would have scored more. He could possibly have won a championship. He would have scored even more. But he said he was more in with the passing. I think he was around like 18. He was always like around 18, 19 points per game. But this is a different era, my guy. He was an assistant coach with the Warriors, Nick. He was there. That's how him and KD kind of got cool.
Yeah.
He was with the Warriors, so he knows about the ball movement and what it takes. He's seen the defense that Steve Kerr runs, one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen.
Wow, where's that offense then? If he was an assistant coach,
what's the offense? The offense. Well, I know Steve Nash was an assistant. I mean, he was just like he was a training coach.
He has so much of that D'Antoni, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not
D'Antoni. He has D'Antoni style because that's what he was most successful in. So he feels like he's going to coach what he was most successful in.
Right.
But I feel like you're supposed to coach in what the players that you have are successful in.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're supposed to coach, to me. Now, I could be wrong, but I feel like based on what I've seen watching basketball, I feel like that's how you coach. You put your best players in positions to succeed. So they can get comfortable. They can
you've got to see
confident, and they can start making plays. Then they start making winning plays for others. Now you have a one together basketball team, like the Grizzlies, like the Bucks, undefeated. Those are elite teams. Cavs on their way to greatness. They were the 3rd seed at one point last year. Now they got Donovan Mitchell, MVP candidate, 1,000%. So
yes, sir.
That's a fact. That's
what you need.
But
that's what you need.
Even despite all the issues with Ben Simmons, the Brooklyn Nets as a whole, they stink. They're second to last in defense. That's terrible. Like John Morant and Desmond Bane had 38 points apiece. The next game, Giannis had 40. The next game, Luka had 41. And then just the recent game against Indiana, Benedict Mather had 32, and I think Tyrese Halliburton had about 26. They stink on defense. They are going to have to do something they're going to have to make some adjustments because a lot of these guys, they're getting off against this team. And with a team like this, with Kyrie, KD, Ben Simmons, and the rest of these guys, is inexcusable.
So let's do a little bit of a transition here. Okay. I know we've talked about the Lakers a little bit. But we got one team that the third man is not shooting the ball at all. And then we go to the West Coast, and that third man is probably shooting shots that he shouldn't be taking. So, and
Ben Simmons needs that mentality, though.
They just need to switch, don't they? They just need Brooklyn and Lakers need to switch. So, and I'm not even going to dog Westbrook, which, we used to call Westbrick and all this stuff. Like, he's just – in my personal opinion, he's in the wrong set, the wrong offense, everything. Once he gets out of there, I think we're going to see old Russ again. He's just the mentality again. I'm not saying it's mental for him, but I feel like Russ can do no. Hang on, I'm not like to me. Ben Simmons is mental, like almost like, hey, I just can't do it. Almost scary mental in a way, and I'm not trying to be
scared. I think they're both in similar spots.
And Russ is mental as far as he is always going to be the best, and which is a good way to have it, but you've got to learn what you can give and take a little bit on this team. Like you have LeBron James, who is by far the best NBA player of this era. Catch me there. And you have AD today, Anthony Davis, who's on this team. So you don't have to constantly be the man. You just have to be the man sometimes. And he's getting himself in these shots where I feel like he's thinking he has to put the pressure on him, and it's too much, and he doesn't realize it. That's where I'm saying the mental for him. Like it's easily fixed for him. It's just, can he fix it? Now, the Lakers, unfortunately, they look like trash. And I'm almost tired of saying how bad they look. Like it's almost gotten to the point where it used to be funny. It was like kind of comical. Now it's getting to be like, wow, like, what's going on with these Lakers? What are they? They're 0-5 right now. They might actually end up being 0 in LeBron's jersey number, which get ready for everything of that popping out. What are we looking like? Can they change?
Nope. And, I know that Westbrook is not a good fit with this team. I've been on record saying that, but this is really the team as a whole. Like Anthony Davis is shooting like 18% on jump shots. That's inexcusable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially with this team that really lacks shooting, honestly. But the Lakers, this roster just it's not going to work. I mean, there's good players on this team. I like guys like Lonnie Walker and the rest of these guys, but they just don't fit along with this team. When you have a dynamic player like LeBron James, who is a terrific playmaker and such, you got to have shooters, which has been a lot of his success came from. In Cleveland, he had guys like Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, and the rest of these guys. Miami, Ray Allen, Mike Miller, even in the bubble, Danny Green, KCP, and the rest of these guys. I don't know why Rob Pelinka went away from that formula over the past recent years, but something's got to change. And it's like, I know that you could possibly make a trade for Westbrook, but it's going to be difficult at this time because I don't know if people really want to take him. Like, for example, like there's been Indiana rumors, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, and these guys. It would be good, but then on top of that, the Lakers, they don't want to give away their future first round picks. So at the end of the day, you're kind of gambling with the situation because you're kind of in win now mode. But then again, at the end of the day, you also want to build for the future as well because LeBron is in year 20, so he's not going to have a lot more years. So it's almost like they're gambling at this point. But at this point, with LeBron still playing at the way that he is, you got to be in win now mode. You got to be in win now mode because you don't know how long he'll be able to sustain this. In my opinion, he probably would, but you just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't want to play with that gamble.
Mm-hmm. Well, before you go, CJ, I just don't think any season with LeBron is ever let's not win now mode. Like, that would be the dumbest thing ever as any franchise leader or front office. If you have LeBron, it's not like, hey, let's get through this season and see what we can get later. Like, it's LeBron. Like, he's going for the rings now. He's chasing the ghost. Go ahead, CJ.
I don't dislike Russ at all. I have his 2020 All-Star jersey, the red one. I'm a fan of Westbrook. I've been a fan of Westbrook since his rookie year. It's just not a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a good fit.
Yep.
But LeBron, the third option, like you guys said, the third option has to be a shooter. The third option has always been a floor
Pure.
spacer. When
Pure
not necessarily pure,
Not a pure shooter.
Bosch and Bosch and Love, they hit 40 at times from behind the line. So in the playoffs they hit big shots. Bosch has some big shots.
Bosch is so I love Bosch.
Y'all remember Ray Allen?
But the thing was like, okay, like LeBron's not shooting that well, AD's not shooting that well, and then Russ is not shooting well. And then you have an inside big. Then you have an inside big and a smaller point guard that can't shoot, or that's not a consistent shooter. So now you have 5 guys that are not consistent knockdown shooters in your starting lineup. That's why they lose. They can't shoot. We know this. So I see the defense is there at times. They play really good defense there. It's there at times. It is there, but I mean, if you're not knocking down shots, it does take away your knocking down threes, lose confidence for everybody on the team. Hey, let's get it. Hey, good shot, my guy. Yeah, back on defense. Now, when you're knocking down a shot, yeah, force some left. You feel me? Like making him a go. You have more confidence when you're knocking down shots. Like, all right, then you that always happens. You knock down a shot, everybody's a defender now. But when you're not making shots, some people don't play like that. They just stop playing.
Pointing fingers.
Yeah, they start pointing fingers at everybody instead of looking at self. Exactly. So it's whatever mentality you want it to be. And they just don't. Yeah, they have a starting 5 where all the starting 5 they're inconsistent when it comes to floor spacing. So you're going to struggle. It doesn't matter if LeBron is there or not, because you're going up against a team that has they don't even have 1, and they're going up against a team that can have 5, 4, 3. At minimum, 3 at minimum. So you're already outmanned. You're going up against a team that has 3 shooters in the starting lineup that I'm just talking about. I'm not even talking about the bench. They don't even have shooters off the bench either. They got the guy Ryan. He's young, so I'm not going to sit here and critique him. He's a young guy. I'm not going to sit here and bash him. He's young. You know how much pressure it is playing with LeBron, being on the court, trying to throw you a dime. You know how much pressure that is to knock down that shot. He'll get it together. He'll lock in. He's young. But I'm saying that it's on Rob Pelinka to build this team. He's a terrible team builder. It is what it is. Terrible team builder. It just is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna say here sugarcoat it. Free speech. You feel me? Like, I'm not gonna say here sugarcoat nothing. He's not a good team builder. This is what we've seen. I'm going off what I've seen. It's not personal. We're not out here trying to bash nobody. I'm talking pure basketball. And when I see basketball, when you have LeBron, automatically let's build him with shooters. Giannis, what did they do with Giannis? Build around him. What they build around him? Shooters. What did they build around Steph? Shooters and defenders. Clay and Draymond. Is it that difficult to, like, we see LeBron play, like you said, how many years? You said what?
20.
Year 20.
2 decades.
20. So we have 20 years, right? 20 years of evidence of how to build around this guy, right? To go to a championship. And you do the complete opposite.
Do you think in the
later stage of his career? Where's the common sense in that? Where's the common sense of not having floor spacing in a floor spacing era?
That's a very good point on that.
This is the modern era of spacing.
Yeah. But, I will say this, and I'm not just trying to throw shade at LeBron on this, but, when he did come to LA, one of the things that he wanted to, or has said, was he wanted to start doing less as far as, I won't say being the man, but have that other playmaker that could take over games, like, the Kyrie on the team. And that's why I think we got the Lance Stevens, the Rondos, the people that could actually penetrate and be scorers, which it didn't work well. Is it a little bit of LeBron kind of saying, hey, I need some help to take over the games. I can't do it for 40 minutes, but when I can do it, I'm awesome at it. And trying to prolong his career to maybe play with his sons, which is totally fine. I'm not saying anything bad on it. But instead, it's kind of, I won't say made a team, but it's almost hindered to what it is, because LeBron's not a good shooter. I mean, he's a decent shooter, but he's not knockdown shooter.
He's probably the best shooter on the team right now.
I mean, if that's giving him a grade, that's still probably a C, but, congratulations on the high there. But what I'm saying is, like, you go to Miami Heat days. LeBron, you had Wade who could penetrate, but was a good shooter, and then you had Ray Allen. You go to Cleveland, you had Kyrie. You also – go ahead.
It wasn't just Ray Allen. It was
Mike Miller,
Shane
James Jones.
Yeah.
It keeps going too. But then, he goes to
Gosh.
Cleveland. You've got Kyrie who can kind of help with the playmaking, but then you also had Corver for times. You had Wade, of course, a little bit, but it didn't work out too well. Who else were shooters on those
Iman
teams? Smith,
Shumpert, Kevin Love.
And now we go to LA, and there's never been that pure shooter that they have. And LeBron is trying to get that other playmaker who we thought Anthony Davis could kind of be that good.
Well, 2020, they had shooters. They had shooters in the bubble.
But they still acted like they couldn't shoot. They never shot great because it was always Danny Green who was here, to be the knockdown shooter. I'm getting like CJ with my hands now, who was a shooter, but he couldn't find his stroke during the playoffs. I mean, when it got to the finals, he started hitting some knockdowns. And now we got this team that doesn't have what we've all been saying, that one that you can count on to shoot the ball. I mean, did they think Westbrook would be the penetrator and let LeBron be more of a shooter or AD shoot? Like, instead of getting that third option who would be a shooter, they got three of the same players, same style.
But the thing is, like, as much as I hate to say it, you gotta hold LeBron accountable as well, because
that's what I'm saying.
This
like
is
LeBron,
a guy that
he's
requested
saying, hey,
Westbrook.
I want these players. I want these guys. I don't know why or what we were thinking to just say, let's not go with a pure shooter this time, or a bunch of pure shooters. Go ahead, CJ.
Okay. LeBron said he wanted Westbrook. Okay. I'll sit down with LeBron and be like, listen, bro.
We're trading you now.
Nope.
Nah,
that would never happen.
But here's the thing. It's like, I honestly, I couldn't even say if I was Rob Pelinka, because I have the common sense to put shooters around LeBron. So I can't even put myself in that scenario. And I know he won a championship as a GM, but like you said, even when they won the championship, their shooting percentage was still low. This is what Corey's going on, brother. What he said?
Oh, sorry, I was clicking on. It says, wait, what? You can't hold a LeBron accountable for anything. You can say no to LeBron. LeBron's under contract.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
This is what I mean, because I was going to make a scenario and be like, tell LeBron, like, listen, like, but again, like, there's no way I would just say, yeah, we put shooters around. You know what I mean? That would be that's what I was saying.
Hear you.
I'd be like, yo, I'm going to push you around. I'm going to have 5-6 snipers around you guys.
Right.
That's the only way. 5-6 snipers. Two guys come in. Okay, space the floor. Then you have to have a motion offense. You have to have. Offense. You can't have LeBron. Yeah, of course. At times, obviously, you do the LeBron come here, get the switch on the big man, easy work, go to the basket. You feel me? It's a body, or just work. Now he's in the post. Now he's working in the post. I've talked about this a bunch of times on the show previously. So he's in the post, working on his post moves, getting physical in there. Because why? Because there's nobody really down there. The baby's down there. He's 6'9". Everybody else is a baby. Even if you're 6'9", you're still a baby. So, so it's just easy for him to score down there. That's easier than, again, driving from the key to the. I said this, driving to the keys of the basket. So he could collapse the defense. Mm-hmm. So what do you need? Like I don't know.
I'm a shooter.
Listen, this guy. Listen, I can't. Listen, I'm not disrespecting this man. I'm not. This is pure basketball. You've been around Kobe your whole life. Like, come on, bro. And you know about the spacing and everything. Like, you got to put spacing around great players. You need it. Kobe has spacing. Jordan has spacing. All those. Jordan has Steve Kerr, cool coach. Paxson. He has shooters. You need all great players. They need spacing. Like Kobe had Robert Horry, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, Lamar Odom.
You have to have
Ariza, Voyage.
Snipers. You need snipers because the defense is going to collapse. You have to collapse.
Josie Fisher. I don't know.
Yeah, I said Derek Fisher. Of course. And so that's when you guys just talked about the shooters that LeBron has had. So that's what you need. So when you know you need to go towards that.
Yeah, to me, it's common sense. Like, I hate to say that, but it's legit common sense. Like, if you're building a team, I don't care if you got LeBron or not, you have to have a ball-dominant penetrator. You have to have a presence at big who can rebound, can dunk, and defend. You have to have a wing player that can shoot and penetrate. Like, that's kind of it. And then you got to have a defense guy. Like, if you're making a team to try to win championships, you got a defensive head, you have a rim protector, and you have a knockdown guy. That's the role players. Then you have your playmakers. This team doesn't have a pure knockdown shooter. This team really don't have much of a rim protector because AD, I like AD, he can be, but you don't know if he's going to be hurt or not. Plus, it plays away from the rim quite a bit on defense and offense. You've got LeBron who can protect the rim too, but I don't think that's the guy that's going to be really your rim protector. Like he even
I think once Thomas Bryant gets healthy, like he'll be able to clear that up somewhat.
Who's that?
Thomas Bryant.
Okay. But this team is just not well put together in general. And again, going back to, I just kind of want to go back to this because CJ, you were talking when Corey was saying it, as far as you can't say it's LeBron because he's under contract. I also think LeBron has so much of a platform that if you went against the grain of what LeBron wants, you're probably going to get fired because he's going to raise enough ruckus, say, "Oh, this is not what I wanted."
Not if you
everywhere he's went.
Not if you're talking.
Everywhere he's went, the coach has been fired.
Yeah,
right?
The coach wasn't good enough. Obviously, the good ones. He won
all these guys are not good.
The good ones. The good ones he won the championship with, and they're still doing well right now. Eric Spoelstra, Ty Lue.
I agree with you.
Exactly.
100%.
David Blatt was not a good coach.
Who?
David Blatt is not a good coach.
Yeah, he wasn't. He just wasn't. He wasn't good. He wasn't.
I believe there was a time he
coach.
wanted Sproles fired too, though.
What happened?
I even think he tried. Well, I won't say tried. At one point, he almost was trying to push for Sproles to be fired in Miami.
No. Well,
but they lined it out. There was.
I do remember.
But I'm just saying.
I do remember those talks, and then kind of like remember the shove.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was on the first.
That was
year,
the beginning of social media, so that was so toxic.
So my thing is, I do think
I was like, wow, that was the beginning of.
At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, I don't think anyone can say it's LeBron because he's not technically making the calls. But I do think he has a voice in there on what's going on.
But it's just common sense.
Yeah,
you got 20 years of evidence. It shouldn't even be nothing to say. Honestly, this shouldn't even be a discussion. LeBron.
But I don't even know why LeBron would not want
before we even recruit him. The meeting that I would have with my team, if I were the GM or the president of Lakers basketball operations, role play. I'll tell my team, listen.
Got a little creaky on there with that role play a little bit. It scared me a little bit.
Pure basketball. I would tell my team, right? My team that I've hired to build to help build this roster into a championship and have championship dynastic identity. Okay, we bring LeBron in. We need obviously. You need the shooter. That's it. That's a given, man. That's a given. So I'm already thinking about guys you could bring in to complement LeBron. Easy. Compliment LeBron. Yeah, of course you need a couple playmakers here and there. You want him to play off the ball a little bit so he can rest and pick his spots during the game. We talked about that last week as well. That was a good topic for you guys to go check that episode last week. That's live as well on Apple, all platforms. That was a good conversation last week. So that's what you need. So that's what I would say to my team if I had that job and we win championships. We'd win championships.
Absolutely.
Easy. I know what you need to do in the West to contend. I have 25 years of evidence, at least. I've been watching basketball for I'll say 2-3 years old. So I know what basketball looks like.
It's common sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's just pure, easy common sense when you watch the game. Even if you play the game, play the video game. So now why in professional, it's not connecting.
You got me on this.
I don't know. But yeah, let's transition to some teams that's actually playing well and deserve some more credit and deserves a lot more praise. Small market, big market, doesn't matter. It's about how they're playing together. Let's talk about Utah. I'm a fan of Utah. I'm a fan of the Jazz. Will Hardy's doing a great job right now. You watch some of their games, how they play, the way they move the basketball. It's exceptional. We got Michael pulling up the graphic right now. I appreciate that, brother, and what we're looking at. And yeah, I just like the way they move the ball. Man. And Jordan Clarkson's doing a really good job. Lloyd Markin is doing an excellent job as well. Just Colin Sexton's coming along. He missed the whole year, so you got to give him some time to get right. But I do see some flashes of young bulls. Just he's going to get there. I've seen a lot of
He's gonna get there, yeah.
I just seen him play how he plays. That's what I've seen so far, and definitely. But it's going to just take a little bit more time as well. He deserves that more time. You can't just critique him OD at the beginning of the season. We're missing a whole year like that. So they still got Michael Conley, veteran, been through it all, and I just think right now those guys are auditioning to get traded.
Absolutely.
That's just going to be more picks, and there's going to be more picks for Danny Ainge. He's just going to flip these. He's going to flip these guys. And
Danny Ainge is about to have the whole first round picks. You know,
yeah, he's gonna,
just the next year's draft.
Honestly, if I'm like we were talking about with Will, if I'm Miami, I'm calling about marketing and Clarkson.
Clarkson would be nice.
Now both would be nice.
I mean, I'm just saying though, like Clarkson coming off the bench, just like the Sparky's talking about.
Clarkson come off the bench. Woo, I mean, they're gonna ask for Hero, but I would take Clarkson right now.
I don't think Utah has to ask for Hero on that because
they're
gonna ask for him.
They want young guys. They want inexperience, so they can.
Especially if you're getting Clarkson.
Times or not, they're gonna lose. Mm-hmm. That's in AKA tanking. That's what that tanking is. You want to get a cornerstone guy. So what you do is you trade for young guys and get more assets, and you get those young guys. Maybe some of those guys stay down the road. We'll see when we're building what we're trying to build. Cool, nice. Right. But we're gonna play these young guys. They're gonna lose these games because they're young, they're inexperienced, they haven't really played together. We're not gonna have a great record. That's the tanking sauce. It's so obvious.
Tanking sauce.
That's the sauce. That's what it is. That's what they're doing right now. But with Utah, they're doing that. But Utah's doing that, and they have veteran guys that they're going to flip. So they're playing them early, and then then when they get those assets, then they're going to get, like I said, then they're going to start to play those younger guys, and they're going to do exactly that method is going to happen. It's just a natural method, as opposed to if you had a star, you just bench, or you had a young star, you're just benching them because we're not going to be good.
Right. No, which is crazy that we're saying this because Utah. I mean, granted, we're 7 games in, or 6 to some. But they're in 4th place right now. We're talking about these guys going to end up tanking, but
they move the basketball. They do it. Listen, even if they don't, even if they want to stay competitive, cool. If they want to stay competitive, I think that's great. They have depth. They have some solid depth. They play really good defense, and they move the basketball. The way they move the basketball is at a high level. Will Hardy's coming from the Spurs, comes from the Celtics organization. He's done a great job so far. He's a very young head coach. And he's doing an excellent job. I think Danny Ainge had a great hire. He knows Will Hardy extensively well, so he knew this was going to be the guy for what they're trying to build over there in Utah. Either way they slice it, whether they want to stay competitive or make that transition into what I just said. I think they're going to be in good hands because you can already see the way they play and their identity already without having the so said potential number 1 prospect in Wembanyama.
So looking at this list here on the picture, and of course, everyone that's listening on podcasts, I just went to NBA.com, got the standings pulled up. And right now we're just focused on the Western Conference. Nick, out of these, and again, 7 games, so I know we can't buy too much into it, but I've just got from the 11 teams up, which that's just because where I stopped at. Out of these 11 teams.
Go ahead and scroll up a little bit. I don't even want to see that 11 team. They're making me mad.
Well, I mean, I definitely want to talk about them some, but let's see if we can just go. There we go. We just got the 10 teams now. Yeah. Out of these 10 teams, other than Utah, since we already spent some time on them, is there any teams that's really surprising you, either bad or good right now?
The San Antonio Spurs are 5-2. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. And they just beat Minnesota tonight. Playing phenomenal basketball. I mean, I don't know if we want to jump into this, but, we all know the Josh Primo situation that's happened. We can get to that in a second. But, besides that, I mean, the Spurs are clearly showing that they're playing really good basketball. One of their top players, or I want to say one of the top players, but one of their more impressive players for me. Prospect. Yeah. One of their best prospects, Jeremy Sohan, who came from, what was it? Baylor? Yeah, Baylor. He's definitely playing pretty well. Keldon Johnson looks like he's taking that leap. They got a sniper this past season in Doug McDermott. So stopper?
No, I said sniper.
Sniper. Yeah, sniper.
I know what we're talking about. Teams need a sniper.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the Spurs being 5-2 is actually really, really impressive. And look, again, we know this early. This whole standings is gonna be totally different probably a month from now. But for a lot of these younger teams to get off to a really good start is really impressive, and it really shows the growth within the team. it shows the trust within the organization. The front office is really putting up, is really developing these young teams, and it just really puts them in a good direction moving forward. So the Spurs being 5-2 is really impressive alongside Utah. We see the Pelicans sitting there 4-2. Zion had a really monster game. I'll be honest, man, Zion
MVP.
I'm not gonna say he's MVP, but yo, like there was nobody in the league that can stop that man, especially when he's in attack mode. Like I was watching the game earlier today, and he was placing a post against Zubac. He was treating Zubac like food, and Zubac has probably got like at least 2 or 3, 4 inches on him, because Zion's around like what 6'7", 6'8", or something like that. So, but just with his size, his skill set,
6'6".
That's what you're
he's
saying.
6'6". Is it really?
Yeah, he's
wow.
actually short. I mean, for the NBA, I mean, he's obviously taller than me, but yeah,
he's
6'6".
not short. Like I told you about LeBron. I told you the stronger you are, the easier it be to score in the paint, and that's exactly
that is true.
Go ahead,
That is true. That is true. And I mean, and I mean, we're seeing it like with Zion. I mean, but overall, this Pelican team is really nice. I mean, especially once Brandon Ingram comes back. Once Brandon Ingram comes back from that concussion, I think they're going to be up there. I'm not saying top 4, but they're definitely going to be up there as far as a playoff contender in the West.
You know, we're right on this.
I mean, they're right. I mean, they're tied for top 3 right now. I know it's very early. So listen, you're entitled to your opinion, bro. You're entitled to your opinion, bro. Listen,
I mean, look, I don't hate y'all's opinion.
I think if they stay healthy, they're definitely going to be top 4. And the reason why I see that is because, one, they have a really good head coach. They have a really good GM with IQ, supreme IQ, supreme basketball IQ, high level, championship, team building IQ with David Griffin.
Absolutely.
You have Zion, 4 out, 1 in. It's beautiful. It's perfect for today's NBA. It's perfect for him. He's going to get to that left hand every single time. Who else was on the court? Brandon Ingram, a guy that averaged 30 against the Phoenix 64-win Phoenix Sun team last year, the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. He averaged 30 on that team in the playoffs. Oh, that's one of his teammates. Oh, TJ McCollum, a guy that scored 30 plus, 40 plus in playoff games.
They're talented.
I mean, come on, this is what you put around him, and then not only do you have solid veterans, you have solid young guys. Trey Murphy is splashing threes. Alvarado, Herb Jones, Larry Nance,
Najee Marshall.
High IQ team championship building. Zion's getting to that left hand every single time. Nobody's stopping that Zion left. It's not. Nobody's stopping it. It's like the hook shot. I'm proud. I'm listen to me. It's like the hook shot. Watch when he plays. You cannot. It doesn't matter. You could send 2, 3, and then I tweeted it out. And you like my tweet. Respect to you, my brother. Respect to you, my brother. You know. Great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Think alike. I said, what was underrated? His playmaking. He has underrated playmaking in the post. Oh, you about to pull up an overhelp? Oh yeah, dime. That's a quick dime right there. You want to come overhelp? Perfect, cool. Here's Brandon Ingram. Dime.
No, I mean that's
you're gonna leave Brandon Ingram open over here.
That's really a good attribute to his game, though.
When Brandon Ingram and I are together on the same side of the court, who are you gonna leave open? Who are you gonna double team? You can't. What are you gonna do? Automatic. The Zion to the left hand. It's like Kareem. It's gonna be like that, bro. Because they play 1 in, 4 out. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's perfect basketball.
And this is just like what I mentioned the last season Zion played, he averaged 27 on like 63% shooting. And you got to think, his big man was Steven Adams, a guy who wasn't really known as a floor spacer. Now you have Valanciunas who can play out, and he's not clogging the lane. I did it.
You see what I'm saying, brother? That's why I said top 4, bro. And
Nick, are you with us now? Top 3.
They have.
Okay, you're pushing it, Michael. You're pushing it.
Let's count the guys. Let's count the guys that can score 30 on their team.
CJ,
Zion,
Ingram.
Oh, so Zion, Bi, CJ, Valanciunas, Trey Murphy could get 30. I think could get 30, bro. I seen him get 27, 25. he could get 30.
Now, I want to ask on that real quick. Are you saying these guys can get 30 by themselves, or they could just score 30 on like?
Well, I mean, Trey Murphy had a game last week where he didn't even miss.
Right, but it was kind of, I'm not taking anything from him, but, Zion helped him out, kickouts, uncontested.
Doesn't matter.
Threes.
He's knocking down the shots. He's
Well, that's why I'm asking.
If you get the 30, you get the 30, brother. That's not easy to do.
No. I'm with you.
Like
I'm just
27 as rookie season.
I'm just trying to clarify which way we mean this, because CJ, B.I., and Zion and Valanciunas can all score
30
by themselves.
Easy. Yes.
Like one-on-one, whatever. They can do that. Playmakers.
Do it all.
But Murphy, definitely 30 points with his team just by sitting there ready to shoot.
It's 120 points, man.
Well, they're in the finals now. Just forget it.
Oh my God,
that's more than that. That's more than 120 points, man. Could potentially be. Herb Jones too. I mean, if he continues to develop his shot, listen, they got somebody's going to be open.
And after they sign JJ Redick out of retirement, God,
no. They don't need Redick. They don't need Redick.
That was never going to happen.
New York,
just
stand up.
That's what they need in the Lakers, but
they got Alvarado. He can knock down his shots.
That's one player I'm not fascinated with.
I believe he went to Georgia Tech. He was getting busy.
You're not fascinated with Alvarado?
Watch his Georgia Tech highlights.
Bro, Alvarado was that deal. Like, come on.
He does have the heart.
That's why
100%. I'm with you.
Watch his college highlights. I'm telling you, bro.
No, because I think Georgia Tech beat us.
There's a reason why he's in the. You play. You seeing that? Yeah.
Anyways, let's keep on going.
Exactly. Excellent team. Top 4. Let's look at some of these other teams. Trailblazers. Shaedon Sharpe. Whoa, another guy that you.
Shaedon Sharpe. Simons.
Calipari, man. Y'all better not fire this man. This guy knows talent, my brother.
Listen, I don't know Kentucky basketball like that, but he knows he has an eye for talent because Shaedon Sharpe ain't Simons and Lillard.
Mm-hmm. Whoa! What are we talking about?
Maybe this team's for real. Do they still have Nurkic?
Simon scored.
They still have Nurkic. They have Jeremy Grant. They have abundance of other guys too. Nasir Little.
I underrated. I had him in top 10. I had him top 10.
So same here.
Things can change, but I did have him top 10. That's locked on record.
That is on record.
Yes,
we just got to find it.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah.
I wrote mine down.
But I didn't have the number 1. I didn't have the number 1.
It's still early. It's
very early. I didn't see.
And they're gonna be without Lillard for at least 2 weeks. So we'll see.
But
I don't even have them top 10.
Shaedon Sharpe, Simons, and you know what I slept on as well? Chauncey Billups.
Hey,
I told everybody.
I slept on.
Last year, everybody was like, "No, he can't be a head coach." I'm like, you got to think like Chauncey. We all know that he's a champion, but the thing about it is we all know him to be a champion, but you got to think like he came under Ty Lue just like a few years ago with the Clippers. Yeah. So I mean, you got to take that into consideration, which is why I'm glad that Dame was like kind of like next to him and saying like, you know what, I'm glad that he's our head coach because everybody looked at last year because the team was practically terrible because Dame was out for most of the year, and they're like, oh. That's true.
Woo!
But now, looking at this year,
if he can unlock his confidence quickly, it could get scary. I think this could be a good time for him right now with Lillard being out. He can step up, kind of be aggressive. I'm talking about Shaedon Sharpe is what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Simons as well.
I'll be honest. Like Shaedon could be a guy that I can see starting next to Dame because I'll be real. Like
that's the 1 through 3 right there, bro.
That's the thing though. Like. Honestly, yeah, Dame, Simons, Sharpe at the 3.
And what's crazy is he didn't play a year in college.
That's a hell of a starting 5.
He's
that's
so
a hell
young.
Of a starting 5 right there. That's a really good.
He's only 19
right there, bro. You got Lillard. Lillard scored 60 in a game.
Let's move on up to the East now. I've already got it pulled up in the top 10 real quick. And just going through it. Bucks, Cavs, Celtics, Hawks, the Knicks, Hornets, Raptors, Wizards, 76ers, and the Bulls in the top 10 right now. Nick, who's surprising in this?
We got to talk about it. The Cleveland Cavaliers are legit. Everybody needs to get that. I said once the Donovan Mitchell trade went down that they're going to be at least top 5 in the East. I know a lot of people kind of gave me slack for that, but we have to give this team the credit that they deserve. We understand that Darius Garland has not played this year, so there's going to be questions because Donovan Mitchell is looking like an MVP candidate right now. With his
Garland's
scoring,
played 18 minutes, hasn't he?
I don't think he's played this year, has he?
He played a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's only played
Okay,
18 minutes.
okay.
I seen a post about that earlier. It said
Okay.
we've only had him for 18 minutes.
But once he comes back in full effect, I mean, there will be questions. But as of right now, Donovan Mitchell is playing like an MVP caliber player. His scoring, his distributing, he's really leading the pack with this team. He's really elevating the players like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Karis LeVert, who had 41 against Boston alongside Mitchell. This team is looking really, really dangerous. And you got to give credit to another coach, JB Bickerstaff. Last year, led the team to the play-in, and they were the third seed, like CJ mentioned earlier in the show. They were the third seed. They were the third seed for most of last year. Now you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell. Like this team is going to be legit. Like I know that a lot of people may not want to give them that credit, but this may be the best non-LeBron Cavs team since like the 90s, since like the early 90s per se. Like when you think about it. So Cleveland's legit to me. And I just hope that once Garland does come back that, I know that Mitchell may not be the same playmaker that he once was, but hopefully he can still be effective in that way, somehow, some way.
I just want to go ahead and go let's get in a time machine real quick, okay? There, boom. We're back last year, back in the summer, when I'm pretty sure I said, hey guys, I am trying my best to find a Donovan Mitchell rookie card because I think this guy is going to go to a team where he finally gets some spotlight and in a good spot where he will excel. And I want to say that I remember a couple of guys that, kind of have a podcast with me saying that they don't know if this guy can be the number one on a team. I can't remember if that's true or maybe I dreamed it, but I'm pretty sure it happened in the summer of 2022. And I kind of feel like right now, back in where we're at in the present.
Did you disagree with this?
Let me ask you this. Do we have the answer for that already?
I mean, Nick is already talking about like he is MVP candidate right now.
He hosted Larry O'B.
But here's the thing: like MVP is regular season. MVP is regular season.
It's the season.
Yes, but what?
What he's done in the postseason is already special, and we have to see that. Yes. We have to see it. I just want to see it. I think the way he's playing right now, he's showing he possibly can. He's definitely showing that he's possibly can. He had 38 and 12 on us tonight, man. I knew he was gonna go crazy. It was the Knicks. He's supposed to be a Knick.
He was supposed to be a Knick. Yeah.
I was. I mean, he really said like. He like went to sleep and like thinking he was gonna be a Knick, but he woke up like that's crazy, bro. But anyways, I don't know what it is with that, bro. That's tough. But yeah, Cavs are playing great basketball. They're playing like a team. They didn't have Garland tonight. And those guys, Kevin Love came out, stepped up, had 28. He had a big game. They needed that 28. They needed somebody because we did a good job on LeVert. And I knew Mitchell was going to go crazy. We had an opportunity to win. They choked in the fourth quarter. They folded in the fourth quarter. I don't want to say choke. I don't like to say choke. They let's see the words. They could have made some better decisions in the fourth quarter for the Knicks. So we'll see. I mean, again, they're 500, number 5 seed.
I mean, not bad, really.
Yeah, it's not bad. If we keep our home record strong, we should be all right. I'll just keep it at that when it comes to the Knicks. But yeah, Cavs are playing great. Celtics are playing great basketball. Bucks
Charlotte.
Yeah. Dennis Smith Jr. has had a revival. You guys seen the quote where he said he was about to go play in the NFL.
He actually put on weight for the NFL.
Dennis Smith Jr. has gotten off this year.
He would have been successful. I think he would have been successful.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean,
I would put him at safety, to be honest. I would put him at safety. Maybe wide receiver, probably or tight end. That's why he said he was putting on weight. If he's a tight end, he's just jumping over everybody easy. It would have made a lot of money.
And I don't want to look too much into it, but I mean, obviously exciting to see some of these teams that nobody really expected to be doing what they're doing. Of course, Cavs 5-1. I think they're on let me go back where I can see the screen a little bit better.
Have we gotten to the team that we need to talk about?
Yeah, they lost their first game in 5 in a row now. Who's that?
Oh, I'm talking about the guy on CJ's hat.
Oh, the Knicks?
Or the team on CJ's hat, sorry. Okay.
Yes, sir. I just said briefly, bro. I was just like, listen, they're going to be like around 500 type team, man. That's why they're 500 right now. They're going to be around 500. We just got to keep our home record. My camera right now, he'll be back shortly, guys. he'll be back shortly. Yeah, like I said, they just got to keep their home record strong. That's it. I don't want to die too much. I got a podcast coming out, Knicks Boulevard. Look out for that. Just everything's Knicks. I'll go more into detail about the squad and the team. So definitely look out for that, guys. Count the Bucket fan. But these other teams, Hawks are playing well. Raptors, they just find a way. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 team race for fifth seed, tie for fifth right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really, as long as we stay in this 10, that's how I see it.
No, that's fair. One thing that I will say is
you have a chance. As long as you stay in the 10, you have a chance.
Right. I think that New York has definitely found their point guard. Jalen Brunson looks spectacular so far. He had that 27-13 game, I believe it was against Charlotte. Then he had another solid game against Orlando last week. Mm-hmm. The Knicks have definitely found their point guard, and then on top of that, I like what Randall has been doing. Randall's not really settling like he was like a season ago. I mean, he's playing a little bit better. He's playing a little bit better, in my opinion.
Well, he's got the help.
Better than he was last year. See, CJ doesn't agree. I mean, CJ knows more about the Knicks than me. I'll definitely give him that. He watches way more Knicks than I do.
It's your
his splits are better than last season, but
yes.
Go ahead, bro.
But I mean, at least from the games that I saw, he's not settling for jump shots anymore. He's at least attacking a little bit more, getting better looks, in my opinion, than he was. Because I was just tired of seeing him in ISO ball and then just settling for 3-point shots, knowing he can't shoot, knowing that he's not effective from that range. So that's a little bit of a plus. I'm a little bit disappointed in RJ though. A little disappointed in RJ. Coming into this year, I expected All-Star, but he hasn't really shown that for most of this year. So I mean, it is still early. So you never know. He can possibly turn it around, hopefully, because we all know that he has the talent and he has the skill set to really be a great player. Mm-hmm. But besides that, I mean, I'm a little bit higher on New York than I may have been before the season, because I think before the season I had him at 12 or 13. I could see playing. I could definitely see playing for this team if they can continue to remain effective throughout this year.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can see.
All right, guys.
I can see playing as well, man. Yeah.
Let's do this real quick. Let me pull it back up. I've got some matchups for tomorrow night. Let me know when it pulls up.
Yeah.
Okay. So tomorrow night, let's just go real quick at this if y'all want to and kind of give our picks what we think is going to happen on here. Here we go with a pop-up again. So first game on Monday, 31st. Happy Halloween, everyone. Is the Kings at the Hornets. CJ, what we thinking here?
Kings at the Hornets. A lot of young players. The Kings obviously haven't really been able to get it going. The Charlotte's at home. Give me the Hornets. Steve Clifford. PJ Washington playing well. Kentucky. Like I said, Calipari knows talent. He knows talent, man. He really does.
Absolutely.
I got the Hornets.
What about you, Nick?
I got the Hornets as well. They just been really playing spectacular basketball. They just beat my Warriors on Saturday, so I think they're going to carry that momentum. Scary Terry has been looking solid. Even Hayward has been pretty impressive to say the least as well. And then, of course, you got Dennis Smith Jr. as well. I got the Hornets in this matchup.
I'm actually going to take the Kings here. I think Hornets kind of same reasoning why you're taking the Hornets there, Nick. After beating the Golden State tonight in a back-to-back game on this, I think they're just going to exhaust themselves so much in today's game that I think the Kings are going to come in and win. All right, next game.
All right, we got Sixers, Wizards.
Oh, you said yesterday. My bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was tonight, but you said yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to go ahead and stick with my Kings, even though it's not back-to-back for the Hornets. Go ahead, CJ.
All right, yeah. No, you're good, man. All right, we got Sixers, Wizards, Eastern Conference matchup, 3-4 Sixers. They got collecting some dubs now after a slow start, and the Wizards 3-3 at 500, trying to stay alive in the top 10. It's a road game for Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey is playing great basketball right now. He's doing a great
Calipari.
job. Crazy. It's crazy.
I just need me a Kentucky sign. When we mentioned a Kentucky player, just there it is, and hold up.
Yeah, like I said, I already said it, man. So he's playing well. I think he should be kind of the second option, in my opinion. Or because
I've been saying that.
He's playing great. He's playing out there, and Harden can kind of play make and then pick his spots. Because I just feel like Harden just does what he does when he was on the Rockets. They just let him do that. That's what they just let him do that. That's it. Like There's no free flowing offense. There's nothing. There's no backdoor cuts. There's no motion cuts. There's none of that. So that's why they struggle most of the time because ISO. And that's why I kind of feared Embiid because I didn't want him to pick up those habits because those habits don't win championships. But like I said, I mean, Harden's still an excellent player, one of the greatest scorers I've ever watched with my eyes, and it hurt my soul when they traded him because I knew he was going to be good. And I saw the first game we scored 48. I was like, oh man, it was over. His first game as a Rocket, he scored 48. I was like, yeah, it's already the worst trade of all time. So I'm a fan of Harden, but when he was with D'Antoni, those tendencies, it's good, yeah, because he's talented. He could get to his bag and score, but it's not a formula that wins championships. So now Embiid is a part of that now, and and he's already struggling. Hasn't been out the second round. So I don't know. It's tough. But I am going to take Philadelphia here.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
I think it's going to be a close game, though.
Philly needs to get back on track. It's been an up and down road over these past 7-8 games for them. I think that they'll take this win on the road. I feel like Joel Embiid will have a monster game. He needs to establish himself. He needs to set the tone as the leader. I think Harden will be in for a pretty solid game, probably get a double-double. Maxey will have probably around 22, 23 points as well. I got Philly in this matchup, even though their supporting cast sucks, but I'm still going to take Philly.
It must be an underdog night for me because I'm going to go with the Wizards here. 76ers in the past few years have not played well away. So I'm actually going to go with the Wizards on this, which they're, I guess, technically the favorite team since they're above 500. I don't really know how that would go, but obviously we think 76ers are the favorite to win. But I'm going to go with the Wizards here. But looking at this, I don't know if y'all can see it on our page. I'm really excited about this right here. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, I meant to bring that up out there when I heard that. I was like, finally.
I hadn't heard that, so that's awesome.
I just said finally. Like, I was just like, he should have been. His jersey should have been retired.
Yeah, Mikan's jersey is now finally retired as the Lakers, in which, we've talked back in the summer about how we couldn't believe that jersey wasn't retired. So thank you, Lakers, for listening to our podcast and coming to your senses. Maybe now you'll get sharpshooters too, but it's because you listen to our show. But go back to it. I've got the Wizards again, 7:30 on the NBA TV. We got the Nets hosting the Pacers. What do y'all think?
Playing again?
Yep, Pacers and Nets.
I got the Pacers.
Back like that?
Yep, that's a lot of these games have been kind of already back to back.
They've been doing that since the pandemic. I don't know why they're doing it like this, but they've been doing it a lot. I guess like to reduce travel.
Okay,
probably. But I got the Pacers. The Nets are terrible on defense. I don't expect anything to change. Indiana looks phenomenal. Tyrese Halliburton is showing that he can be that franchise guy. Buddy Hield is continuing to shoot the lights out. Ben Mathurin is really emerging as a rookie favorite. Even guys like Jalen Smith, we obviously know what Miles Turner brings to the table. I think that they're going to carry that momentum from last game into this game. So Brooklyn still has some issues that I'm still concerned about. But I mean, even though we know what they have, KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, these guys, but I'm taking Indy. I'm taking the underdog this time, Michael.
Okay. Are they the underdogs? They have the better record.
They're the underdog in this matchup.
I just feel like there just has to be a game where it's like this is the game where we just have some effort and this is the game where we get on track. And I think this could potentially be the game for the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
What do you want your season to be? What do you want your season to look like at the end of the year? Does it want to be filled with regret, or does it want to be filled with joy and championship lore and proving people wrong? Which one do you want it to be? And I think this could be a game right here where they could potentially get right. And they just lost to this team. Benedict Mathurin went crazy, 32 points. Tyrese Halliburton went crazy. The Kings, they traded that.
Yeah, I don't. That's a different story on that.
So
I'm actually go ahead.
Getting to that point about the Kings, though. I mean, like I get it. He would have been a really big piece for that team, but I always. But I mean, but not even that though. Like
shooter than Fox.
That's true. But I always kind of
the shooter.
But even coming into the league, I knew that Halliburton was going to be a great franchise point guard, and I knew that the Kings were going to go with Fox. So I was like, you know what? If in order for Halliburton to really grow and develop, I think that he needs to get out of Sacramento. So I agree. He probably would be a really big piece for that team, but I feel like now being it, I mean, who knows? Honestly, I mean, probably the best thing has been getting Mike Brown. Honestly, but I like Halliburton in India, and he's really being able to really be that leader that he can be, and we're honestly seeing it so far this year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with your point real quick that you're talking about with the Kings. It's in a era where there's position basketball, so I don't know why you couldn't have had both of them make it work. But anyways, the Nets, after having this players only meeting, I'm going to go out on a limb and think that they say, hey, this is our game, kind of like what CJ was saying, where's the turning point? But since they had this players only shut the door meeting, I'm going to hope that kind of fires them up a little bit and get them on the right track to maybe they said, Ben, you got to shoot the ball or get off the court. So I'm going to say the Nets win this game since of that meeting. Moving on down the list for tomorrow's games. On the 31st, we got 7:30 again on the League Pass. The Atlanta Hawks traveling to the Raptors. Nick, who you got?
I got the Hawks. I like the Hawks this year. They're still trying to figure things out as far as, how the dynamic duo of DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are going to play together, but I think that they're slowly figuring it out, to say the least. So I got the Hawks in this matchup, but I think it's going to be a really tight game. Toronto's a team that that you can't sleep on. Obviously, Pascal's been having a pretty solid year. Scotty Barnes, and the rest of those guys, Van Vliet, but I'm taking Atlanta in this matchup.
CJ,
taking Atlanta. Yes, I'm taking Atlanta as well. Trae Young is playing phenomenal. These guys are starting off on a good note. A lot of these star talented guys. You can have a lot of these guys kind of in this conversation for who might win MVP right now. They're playing really good basketball. Trae Young's playing excellent basketball. Siakam's playing excellent basketball too. 25, 9, and 7.
Yeah, almost triple-double there. Yeah,
really good.
Average.
He stepped it up. He's taking that next step, which is good. When he dropped 32 against Golden State in Game 1, I was like, he could be a guy. I was like, he might be a guy that could persuade Kawhi to stay, but ultimately, it didn't happen. But we'll see who's right at the end. Right now, nobody. So, but I'm gonna go with Atlanta in this game. I think it's gonna be a close game. Toronto, this is their home, so their role players are gonna knock down shots. They're gonna be in rhythm. The defensive identity of Nick Nurse versus Nate McMillan, two defensive head coaches. I think it's a nice chess match. Fred VanVleet, I don't know if he's going to be in there. I don't know if he's kind of been in and out of the lineup. But if he's in there, that's a solid matchup. He's going to have to go up against Trae Young. Their star lineup is good. Gary Trent Jr., Anunoby. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Hawks too. I think Drake's not going to be in the arena because it's Halloween. He's going to be out getting his candy, and that's going to be detrimental for the Raptors.
Drake's going to be out getting his candy.
So Hawks win this game. Let's go on down to 8 o'clock. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got the Pistons and the Bucks. We got a young team with a lot of upside versus obviously the best team in the NBA right now, going without their second best player. Incredible. Milwaukee.
I'm gonna go.
Is that simple for me? Is that simple?
I'm gonna go Pistons.
Why are you going with all underdogs, Michael?
34, 14, and 6 for around.
Michael doesn't even believe this.
34, 14, and 6.
The reason why I'm going to Pistons, obviously the Bucks are a better team, but there has to be that team that time they actually lose a game. They're not going to go undefeated.
It's not going to be against Detroit. I'll tell you that much.
34, 14,
Giannis is
6.
Oh man, with those stats, just to be clear,
those look crazy right there. Nobody else's stats look like that.
But I'm going to
scroll it down. Nobody has stats like that. Jaws,
special.
Even marketing is wild. 9 boys, 21.
Yeah. So
but
I'm going
not like this.
Who y'all got?
Of course, Milwaukee, man.
I got the Bucks. It's going to be pure dominance.
Bucks are by far a better team, but I'm just going to take the Pistons just to see what happens here. All right.
I mean, the Pistons did get a nice win tonight against a defending champs team. They act like they're not defending champs, but All
right, no problem. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a good game. We got
in a series, do I think the Pistons would win? Absolutely not. But moving to 9 o'clock, we've got the Grizzlies taking on the surprising Jazz.
It's a good game. That's a
If
good
Ja
game.
comes back,
That's a good game Ja played.
if Ja
It's a good
comes
game the
back,
other
I
night,
got the
too.
Grizzlies.
Great game the other night.
Oh yeah, it
Great
was.
game.
It definitely was. But yeah,
This is
if
what I'm saying.
Ja,
If you don't have league pass, you are
it's
missing.
wild. You're
Or
crazy,
if you
man.
don't- or if you don't have the Fire Stick sauce, you feel me?
I'm trying to get the Fire Stick, man. Michael, you gotta put me on. I'm trying to get the Fire Stick.
You got the Fire Stick. You got the Amazon Fire Stick sauce.
Absolutely. That's why I'm like 2-3 minutes later than everyone else.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Hey, it don't matter.
You got it though. You got it.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. The way I view it as, I'm watching it on my time.
That's right.
We could talk about it later at the same time. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. This is country time, boys. We're a little bit later than y'all anyway. So I mean,
who cares, man? This is a good game. I'm going to go. Wow, this is a good game, man. It's tough. The Jazz play great basketball,
especially in season.
If Ja returns, I got Memphis.
I got Memphis. Yes, I just can't.
Well, I'm just going to kind of keep it going, guys. So in this game, I think the Jazz will take a loss right here. I'm going to go with Grizzlies.
Michael is purposely going against me and CJ.
I just said the Jazz take a loss here and the Grizzlies win. I set you up on that one.
Surprising.
But I'm going to say Bane leads in the scores.
We got the Rockets and the Clippers. Clippers just took an L to the Pelicans tonight. Again, to the left hand up, like, you feel me? Like, come on, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a race for Victor on this game, right?
No, I don't think so. I think Paul George gets it together. Only averaging 19 points right now. He had that 140-point game early.
Paul George definitely has to step up.
Yeah, he has to step up. And Kawhi, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I just don't see it getting any better. I pray for him. I rock New Balance. I love New Balance.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can become a plug. One day that's all I rock. Yeah, I used to work there.
Oh, okay.
So I rock with Kawhi and all that. So I root for success. But the injury is just it keeps adding up, and he's getting older. So I don't know. I know how excellent he is, but is he going to be on the court? That's the question.
That's true.
Going forward, but right now they got to get this dub against the Rockets. This is a get right game.
This is a must-win game.
This is a must-win game. Yep. They've lost 4 in a row, which is insane.
I want to say I can't say must-win. It's because look, if it's must-win, right, that'll make them 2-5,
or 3-5, or 3-4.
No, I'm saying if they say the Clippers were to lose, right?
Oh, okay.
This is a must-win.
Okay.
So
I'm saying must as far as not like it's a winner-take-all must-win game. I think this is one of those games that you're like, hey, we have to win this game. We're supposed
to. This is a game to help them get on the right track.
This is a get-right game.
Yeah.
Like, get right. Yeah, like we're about to get right. Even though they're a young team, they're talented, they're hungry. But
John Wall will have over 25 points because, it is the Rockets, and we know that he hates them a little bit. So
I don't see why you hate him. He rest. I mean, yeah, he didn't get the opportunity to play last year, but
I don't think he hated him.
Look what it's turned into. Everything happens for a reason.
Right. Obviously, the outcome's great.
He's on one of the best teams in the league.
They're 2-5. But yes.
Nah, bro. Listen, man.
I know it's 7 games in.
It's 70.
Y'all get too carried away, man.
There's 77 games left. Think about that.
Listen, I think Clippers are going to be way better than this, but I'm just saying, like
that's 77. That's 77 more chapters.
Yeah.
In the story.
I mean, I still think Clippers have a chance at the championship. I'm just saying they're 2-5 right now. Maybe they're not as good as we all think, kind of like the Nets. But I don't know. We'll see as we continue on. But guys, I think that's how it really got it covered for us. Again, Will, if you're still or tuning into this later, thank you again so much for coming on to the show. We really appreciate that. For you guys that maybe popped in later, Will Manso from the Valley Sports Sun, I think is what it's actually called. It's for the Miami Broadcast Center. He covers, he's the lead director for the WPLN, I think it was, Channel 10, where he covers the Miami Dolphins and the Heat. We got the chance to talk with him for about 30 minutes. He had to go live for his 10 o'clock news. Great stuff there. So, again, thank you for coming on to the show. You will give quick shout-outs, and let's get on out of here.
Let's do it, man. We did it short today, less than 2 hours.
Yeah, we're locked in. Great energy, guys. You did a great job tonight. Everybody tuned in. Will, thank you, brother. Thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate you coming on, talking some basketball with us, chopping it up. It was great vibes. Looking forward to having you on down the road as well as the season progresses, man. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure. You can follow me at linktree.com, cjames9. You can follow me everything that I'm working on, man. Again, just grateful to be with these guys every Sunday at 9:30.
Yes, sir.
I see the likes, 6 likes. We appreciate that. In the stream, wherever you're liking it from, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Shout out Elon.
Shout out Elon.
Twitter.
Oh man.
Anywhere.
Elon gonna get me out of here on Twitter.
Anywhere where you're liking and retweeting.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that, man. Thank you guys for supporting and showing us love.
Nick.
Yes, sir. Definitely make sure to follow us individually, but also follow us on Twitter at CountBucketUSN. Follow our TikTok at CountBucketUSN. Follow our YouTube. Follow us wherever you can find us. All platforms: Apple, Spotify, you name it. As far as for me, Hoop Truthers, shout out to my guy Agu. We release 2 episodes every week. Make sure to check that out. As far as subscribe to my Patreon, I got a new series dropping this Wednesday titled NFL Players That Hoop. So make sure to tap into that. So we're locked and loaded, man. It's the best time of the year. Football is getting up there. Basketball just started. Can't ask for nothing better.
We even got college going on now. Kentucky won today in their exhibition game.
Exhibition, yeah.
Yes, sir. We love it. Great time to be alive with sports. But you can find me, MD Lawson00. That's pretty much on any kind of thing that has the @ That's what my handle is, if you will. You can, of course, like we all said, go to YouTube, go to the podcast, wherever you do. We all got it on there. But also want to shout out to Unwrapped Sports Network, who it's where we're streaming right now on YouTube. We'll probably cut up some of our clips from our today's show, put on our Count the Bucket YouTube. So please go follow all that. Everything that Unwrapped Sports is funneled through the YouTube channel. So if you like our show, CJ's got another show where he does football. I've got one where I do baseball. Go follow all that great stuff. But until next Sunday, we thank you guys so much and appreciate all your views, all your likes, all your comments too. Get in there, Twitters and our Facebook comment or posts and interact with us. We love to hear it. But until next time, guys, y'all have a good one.
Deuces.
Sunday.